I'm in show business. I know loads of people that wake up every day with a sore knob, feeling like they've had their kidneys probed, and they will say they're unconscious. So they don't whinge about it. They get straight back onto it. They, you know, a lot of them are on TV now.
Yeah, straight back to hosting game shows.
So you're rushed to hospital.
So take us through the events, because it does sound quite dramatic. You started feeling a bit of pain, did you, initially?
I felt a bit of pain, and I thought, you know, maybe I've just pulled a muscle or something when I've been wrestling with Ricky and that, because you don't know what damage has been done. So I just think, oh, it'll go in a minute, and then it didn't. It got a bit badder.
It got badder, did it?
So then I thought, I was crippled. I was lying on the floor in agony, looking on the internet, looking for sort of
still looking at Monkey News.
No, I just put in like bellyache and stuff, and they were saying it can be loads of different things. And what I used to do when I was a kid, I used to always just get a cold ashtray and put that on my belly, and the coldness used to get rid of the badness.
Amazing.
The coldness got me.
Like a witch doctor.
Yeah.
This is like
a witch doctor who happens to work in a pub.
It's like some sort of 5th century remedy written in mud. Coldness doth get away with the badness.
Why specifically an ashtray?
Just because they sort of old cold.
They're old cold.
I don't know what this is. I love this idea that he's had the operation and he comes round and they're talking to him, and his girlfriend gets a phone call and they say, Mr. Pilkington's maybe complications. He's just talking rubbish. She goes, oh, good.
Yeah, he's back to his old self. What? Why specifically an ashtray? Sorry, because it's old cold. I understand it's old cold.
Oh yeah, we understand. Everyone who's done a medical degree understands old cold, but old cold belly madness. If you want to buy that book, Old Cold Belly Madness, it's the history of abdominal surgery by Carl Pilkington.
No, it just. You know,
but do you put it in the freezer or something first?
You can do if you want, but they're normally cold anyway. It's sort of thick glass, and that holds the cold. But we don't smoke in our house, so I had to use a plate.
Oh, well, that's madness. A plate's not going to work. Famously, a plate doesn't work.
No!
Coldplay, The Scientist. Have you seen the video of that?
Great, it's just brilliant.
I think I might have worked out. What is, he's walking backwards, it's all filmed backwards, but he's singing forward. Now, the only way I can work out they've done it, without CGI in it and cheating with the lips, is that he had to learn it backwards and did it sort of like bit by bit. Did he do that?
He was on Zoe's show like about a week ago or something, and
so
he sang it backwards.
So he learned phrases and they filmed that. Yeah. But he didn't learn the whole song, did he? He couldn't possibly have learned the whole song. He must have like stopped it and...
Don't know.
It's a great video though. They always do a good video.
No, it's very good indeed.
So it was, The Scientist on XFM. Wonderful one. I'm Rick Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington.
I had a bit of good news this morning.
Go on.
I was on the tube coming down, and I don't want to sound arrogant, I don't want to sound pushy, but I was at Green Park, and I'm fairly certain, Rick, it's not 100% corroborated, I'm fairly certain that a woman pinched my arse. So what do you think of that? Yes.
There's a lot of pickpockets around Green Park.
No, my wallet was still there.
Really?
But even if it wasn't, you know, that would have been money well spent. But the wallet was still there, so what do you think of them apples? Eh?
So what did you just pinch your arse?
I can't confirm it at this stage, exactly what happened, but it certainly felt like a pinch. I looked round, there was a woman behind me.
Right.
She was fairly old. I think she's probably in her mid-30s.
Right.
Kind of reddish hair.
Right.
I don't know if she's listening.
Right.
But she knows where I am. And so I don't know how to proceed, really, Rick. I don't know if it's worth putting up some posters around the Green Park area.
Well, what you could
just to try and corroborate it. If you saw a woman pinch the lanky guy's arse,
you could probably get in contact with British Rail and go back over their
CCTV cameras, yeah.
And then they could probably zoom in and, you know, so identifying sort of birthmarks, or she might have been holding something.
Then I could hire a private eye. Yeah. Again, money well spent.
Well, so there you go.
You know, I'm just saying maybe maybe things are looking up. It's getting towards Christmas.
The worm has turned.
I mean, you know, it's a little sexy story to get the show going.
It is
but what do you make of that then, Carl? Because I know you're quite damning. What's your answer?
Well, I mean, you're quite a tall fella.
Sure.
So she must have really wanted to sort of reach up and have a pinch.
Hmm.
Do you know
Well, you
what I
think
mean?
maybe she did it with her teeth?
He didn't say she was a dwarf.
No, but Steve's taller than, you know, his arse.
Yeah, but his arse isn't 6'9", is it? His arse is about 3 foot off the floor.
4 foot?
What?
4 foot off the floor?
No, I don't think so. About 3. She'd have to be a midget to have to reach up to pinch Steve's arse. He is very tall, but...
I don't know what your point is there, Carl. You're just trying to, you're just,
No,
I think maybe you're just a little bit jealous. Just a little bit of jealousy.
Well, do you know what happened to me on the way in?
Go on.
A homeless person called me a dickhead.
How did he know? Do you know him? Is that why?
He's like the local big issue fella.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows me, he sees me walking up and down the street.
Oh, that's
a
how
lot,
he knew you.
Right? So, so normally I have a bit of a chat with him and that. And I walk past him. And, you know, I can be a little bit cheeky with him, because I've been cheeky with him in the past with stuff.
You pinched his arse.
No, just, you know, saying stuff like, God, you're always there. I mean, you got home to go to and stuff like that.
Yeah,
No,
just breaking the ice, Go
No,
on.
but he knows, and he'd laughed at that, right,
Yeah,
last time,
yeah,
so I thought I can be a bit cheeky, right? So he goes, do you want a big issue? I said, no. He said, come on, I've got loads of them, right? So I sort of said, when I was a kid, and I used to do a free paper around the free papers one, I said, just put them in the bin and go home, right? And he went, yeah, but how am I going to get any money doing that, you dickhead?
You see, I can see his point. He is homeless and having to sell newspapers to get 50p or a quid or whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes I treat him, right? And today I didn't have any money. I had a takeaway last night, and I normally give them a quid, and I felt bad not being able to do that because I didn't have any money on me last night.
Right.
I couldn't look him in the eye.
Did you explain this to the homeless person, the traumas of the takeaway without the tip? Did you explain that, you know, you've had it hard as well? I go, look, you don't
I had food delivered to my warm flat.
Yeah,
It was a nightmare.
you don't know what that's like. You don't know what the trauma is because you can't have food delivered to your flat because you haven't got one. So please don't look at me like that. You should have said.
But most people ignore him. At least I gave him a bit of acknowledgement and sort of...
took the mick.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was being friendly.
No, I know.
You gotta be careful with the homeless, because this is true, and this is, you know when the clocks went back recently, so
Yeah.
you got an extra hour in bed?
Yeah.
And, I was at Cash Point with a friend of mine, and there was a homeless person sat by the Cash Point, and, you know, we would get some money out, and she said, spare some change, and my friend sort of, he's a bit awkward, he's just trying to make conversation with her, he went, clocks go back? Extra hour in bed?
Oh no.
I gave her 2 quid, I felt so bad. He didn't do it intentionally, he didn't realise what he'd said. Just making conversation.
bumbling.
It's tricky making conversation with the homeless, because there's so many areas you've got to avoid, you know, what was on the telly,
Yeah.
you know.
Although I get recognised by homeless people and think, are they, I don't know where...
Well, you've got to remember that's very much your demographic, Rick.
Yeah.
You know,
Dixon's
people who
window.
watch
I'm
TV through
very
the window of
big on-
Dixon's.
Yeah, in Dixon's. Yeah, there was Ricky Gervais is on.
Yeah.
Pop the telly
Well,
on.
they can smell the alcohol on you, they think you're one of them.
Oh, I've had to cut down on that. I've been really good with this training thing.
The boxing.
Play a record and I'll tell you about that. I had my first week of training. I'm in trouble. I'm struggling.
What do you want to play?
Oh, we've got a bit of, have we? Stone Roses, classic.
Another planet is holding you down. Another planet.
Another Girl, Another Planet by The Only Ones on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Stephen Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Carl, cheer up. Come on. There's a war on. Chill out.
Yeah.
I have to say, you have become increasingly annoying recently, Rick.
Who,
I think,
me?
yeah, chiefly, I tell you what it is, I think it's the hot weather. Can I just remind you, when we were in the office recently, we've got a little office that we write in, we work in, and many moons ago, we were doing some work. This was when we were writing the first series of the office, and I was typing away, I was just typing something up we'd written, and I read it back to Ricky, just to check he was happy with everything. I was reading it back, and as part of the thing, there was a knock in the script. It said, you know, knock, and so I was acting out for him, and I knocked like this, and I realised he wasn't listening. He was in fact asleep underneath his desk, and I knocked like that as part of reading the stage directions. I knocked. He thought someone was coming in. He leapt up, clunked his head, zipped up, thought something. I said, Rick, it's not. I'm just acting it out for you. He just wasn't paying attention. He wasn't listening. And can I just throw in? So recently, we're in another office. We're typing away. I look round. He's got his shirt off.
It was hot.
He's taking his shirt off, right? So he's sat there, 41-year-old man, or whatever you are, 40-year-old man, there with his shirt out, beautiful. I mean, I've seen most parts of your body now at one point or another. I think from the early days when we used to work at XFM, you started showing me bits of your anatomy, which is something he does to people he likes, friends of his. I'm sure you've seen most of it, Carl.
No.
And so,
It's not that sort of relationship. Go
he
on.
was sat there, and there was a knock at the door because we'd asked someone who worked in the building to bring us something, and so I had to delay it by sort of not opening the door so he could get his shirt back on.
Yeah.
So he was running around trying to get his shirt back on.
Because
So
what would they have thought? What would they have thought?
they'd have walked in, he'd have just been sat there stripped to the waist.
Didn't they sort of think, hang on, what's going on? Look through the keyhole.
No. No.
It was ludicrous because as they came in, he was flustered and he kind of was just leaning against the window, just looking like. I often stand here with my my shirt back to front.
I was getting like Bernard Manning. You see Bernard Manning, whenever he goes into the house, he has to go upstairs to take his trousers off. I love that. The fact that in your house you've just got your pants and your vest on. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, but it's all the time. It's not just. I mean, you haven't done that with me, taking your clothes off and that yet. But like last night, we were sat in the pub and I was saying, right, you know, let's not even worry about new features. Then let's get the current ones, you know, going.
Like
getting
what?
Good. Like the one that I was trying to work out, the cheeky freak of the week.
Think of that!
Yeah, but I was
Think of
saying,
that though, as a normal conversation.
Yeah,
As
but
a-
I'd looked online, right? I didn't find that much. I found. Actually, I'll tell you what I found later. Brilliant. We're looking for them, right? And then at one point, I think you said to me, "Go and, you know, what about the Guinness Book of Records?
Yeah,
you know,
there's loads of
they'll have like
yeah.
the best freak
Yeah.
in the world or whatever."
yeah, ever.
So I said, "Yeah, bring one in." Now you've got one at home.
Yeah, I've got a
But you
couple.
couldn't be bothered carrying that in today, so I had to go out of the pub that I was at,
Yeah.
nip into Borders,
Yeah.
buy a Guinness Book of Records,
Yeah.
out of my own money, $18.99.
Yeah.
Bring it back, and then you said, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do this feature." So it cost me 20 quid for that. I had to buy a video for Silence of the Lambs film clip. I'm actually out of pocket at the end of this.
But do you want to work with me is the thing. If you want to work with... people would pay that sort of money to work with me, Carl. You're a lucky bloke. Think how many people think, oh, Carl, he gets to drink and sit.
Yeah.
Well, you were making a cup of tea and I surprised, didn't I? Little surprises.
Steve, you know, last night, do you know when I left the pub in a bit of a mood because I was just fed up with not getting anything done?
Yeah.
Walking down the road, I was thinking, how can I get out of this? How can I stop having to work with them? I'm thinking, I wonder if I leave, I wonder if they'll be funny and they'll go, and then my boss will be giving me stick. And thinking, how much notice have I got to give out? And all this is going through my mind. I'm walking home and got in, said to Suzanne, I'm sick of it. She's going, you need to do it when I get a new kitchen. And I was like, yeah, but how big does the kitchen need to be? I was saying, do we need a big kitchen? Can we get a small one? Have we got enough for a small kitchen? Do we need so many cupboards? Can we just have wood instead of steel? All this, trying to get out of doing this.
Yeah. It's always just, I always feel like, you know, because I like to think that I'm not perhaps as bad as him.
Yeah,
You
no.
annoy me in different ways.
Like what? How does he annoy you?
Well, stuff that, you know, I come up with ideas, say Cheap as Chimps.
Yeah.
Rockbusters springs
Yeah.
to mind.
Yeah.
15
I like
Taiwan.
15 Taiwan. Let's just remind people what 15 Taiwan was.
It was a little feature that I wanted to give a run, you know, give it a little run, see if people like it.
The premise being?
No, there's no premise, it's just a title.
No, we were going to get 15 sort of ornaments, you'd explain them, and then people would call up and say, that one's from
radio.
Taiwan.
See, Carl, you just explained why I didn't think that was a good idea.
Yeah,
By
but-
explaining the good...
No, you know, the funny thing is, Steve, right, I was walking down Regent Street on Monday, walked past one of these big stores, right, and they've got all famous quotes on the windows, right,
Yeah.
and one of them was something like, an absurd idea is often a great idea.
Yeah,
Do you know who said that?
go on.
Einstein.
Yes.
Which made me wonder, if you were his mate, would he ever have done E equals MC squared? Or would you have said, don't bother with that, it's not going to work? Because that's all you seem to do, everything I come up with,
Yeah.
you put down.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing. He's negative, right? I don't know why. I don't know why he is. What else?
He messes me about, I get him concert tickets for stuff, and you say, oh, I didn't bother going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is annoying.
You come in, with, you know, 5 minutes to go with tracks that need editing.
Yeah, the little bag, that bag that was free.
Yeah, you got a free bag today, an XFM little rucksack thing.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, what's this rubbish?
Yeah.
Ricky said, I'll have it, they're great. You said, no, I want it.
Yeah.
Well, it was
So-
free, I needed. I'll give that as a gift
well,
or something.
So, I mean, I think on reflection, Steve is probably a little bit more annoying than me.
I won't go that far. You are annoying. If I had to go away for a week somewhere, if it was a quiet place...
Well, you are again, aren't you? That's 2 holidays you had this year, I mean.
If it was a busy place, I'd probably go with you, because people, do you know what I mean, staring at me all the time and that if I'm walking around with Steve. No, I'm just...
Can I draw up a list of reasons I don't like you, Carl?
Just being honest.
What? I'll tell you, because the list of reasons I don't like you is incredibly long. And getting longer.
Just saying.
Do you want another slap?
There you go. We've got
Go on. Hurry up, quick.
educating Ricky. Well,
Yeah,
teacher stuff.
because you taught me that people used to eat tomatoes off lead plates in the land of Narnia last week,
that's
which was
what we learned
good.
last week.
Yeah.
No, what
It's
was-
only tomatoes they ate off the lead plates, by the way. Why didn't they think other fruits and vegetables were poisonous?
No, it wasn't. It was because tomatoes had acid in them. That was the problem. You see, you don't listen, right?
Well, lots of fruits have acid in them.
Yeah, but they didn't eat them back then. they didn't have bloody kiwi fruit and stuff.
Don't
did they,
say
back then?
bloody. You're a producer. You'll start saying shit and cock and stuff. You start saying bloody
Tits.
Right. So,
Right. What is this? What are you doing now?
this is educating Ricky,
Oh,
right?
good. I'm going to look forward to this.
3 topics that I teach you every week.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I should just remind people, you normally summarise each of these in a kind of bullet point heading, which you tease us with. So
Yeah.
what have you reduced them to this week?
Right, we've got Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Stocking, Aitken and Waterman. Good.
Yeah. What else have we got? We've also got what else is it? It's not his vault. Yeah.
It's not what?
It's not his vault.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've also got get a lobe of this.
Get a lobe of this.
Yeah.
Carl, they're genius. Rick, are we choosing one of these after New Order?
Oh, Foo Fighters and All My Life on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Stephen Merchant and Carl Pilkington. So, just before we do educating Ricky, this is where Carl thinks he can give me something of interest and teach me something to take away. Last week I found out that somewhere in a strange land people thought tomatoes were poisonous because they ate them with lead. Things like that. What was the other one you told me?
What else was it last week? Bit of worms. Cut me off.
Yeah. Oh, I sent him a text message. I was on the train, a bit bored, and I read in, I think it was Metro, scientists have found out that worms get stressed, and they found out that the fat ones didn't live as long. And when they checked the thin ones that lived longer, they found out they had a gene for de-stressing them. Right? Carl, do you remember what you said?
No.
He went, well, that's stupid, isn't it? He said, did these other ones die of natural causes? I went, yeah. He went, alright. Because it could be that the fat ones couldn't get off the pavement quick enough and got squashed. So maybe the scientists go, yeah, we didn't... yeah, they come to think of it, they were flat as well as fat.
I think the reason that the worms are getting stressed is because people like Carl are cutting them in half to try and make 2 snakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two worms.
Yeah.
That's the concern.
he said they can't even commit suicide if they're stressed by cutting their throat. I also sent what I thought was quite interesting, that the scientists have found that the elephant hasn't got the best memory. The sea lion has, based on they've got a sea lion and they got it back into the old laboratory 10 years after it taught it a simple trick, and it could still do the trick. What did you say to that, Carl?
I'd say they don't get up to much anyway, so if you do teach it something, it is going to remember it.
Sure.
Because it's got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And then it also, I mean, I like sea lions, they look nice and everything, but what do they do?
What was that? Sea lions?
Yeah, what are they here for? It's another jellyfish, as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's there and people know about them, but what do they do?
Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do, Carl?
Well,
what do we do?
A cat, first, Steve said, is good for your heart. So you
Why is it all geared to what's good for us?
well... Anyway.
Educating Ricky.
Good, we've settled that then, go on.
The titles that are meant to sort of pull you in.
Yeah.
We've got, what was it? Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Yeah.
You've got, it's not his vault. And, get a load with this.
Get a load of this. So, which pun do I pick first? I think I'll go for, get a load of this.
Get a lobe of this.
Yeah, get a load of this, yeah.
Well, that's a story about a girl who, she was deaf, right, for 4 years. And, it happened quite a bit back this.
What year? Or was it,
I think it was
ages ago, was it?
About, yeah, quite a bit back. She was deaf for about 4 years, having an argument with her mum, it said, which I didn't quite understand. Because I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
But she was having an argument, and a man pushed her against the wall, and she banged her head, and her hearing came back.
Okay.
Was she wearing a Walkman and it fell out? And she'd realised, well, that's
There's
why.
no explanation.
There's no explanation. Well, why is that teaching me something
Right,
then?
so I knew you'd say this, right? So I thought, right, I'll stick something on it. Do you know that bees are deaf?
No, you can't just no. If you ask someone something they don't know the answer to, they don't tell you something else. Just I'll tell you something else then. I can't answer that. I'll tell you something else. Imagine that. If you asked a teacher, look, how do birds fly? Wow, if you're going to do that, tallest building is. I mean, what?
Well,
That was the equivalent, Carl, of running away when we asked you a question.
Yeah, the intellectual equivalent. Look over there, there's a monster.
Yeah.
Listen, what do you mean? What she? Okay, so
So her
there's
hearing
no
came back.
explanation. There's no explanation, or you don't know.
well, there isn't one, is there, really? It's a bit
What?
weird.
Did
But the
doctors,
only
did
thing
the
that-
doctors not look into it?
No, I think they just said, oh, that's good.
But, so again, I don't. Where did this information? Is that if you read this on
Is
the net?
that
Is that
it?
all they put on
There
the
was
net?
once a deaf woman who hit her head and she
And her
could hear.
hearing came back.
It was bizarre things about being deaf.
Was there
And-
three
Oh,
like?
yeah.
Was there
I've
sort
got
of-
that book. Yeah, it's a good book. That
Was there three
Yeah.
more pages you just couldn't be bothered to read off?
Yeah.
No, it was just a little bit, and it
Was there a
said-
little picture, a cartoon picture?
No pictures, I just
And
read
you're going,
it.
ow.
Look,
Ow,
if you
I
don't
can
want to
hear.
know, if you don't want to learn, you know.
Yeah. Okay. It's not his fault. Let me have it's not his fault. You got to save this. This has got to teach me something. It'll be an interesting story.
Right, it's not his vault. This fella,
What year? Ages ago?
Olden times.
I'd say in the 70s,
Okay.
Would you? Any evidence for that?
and
Does he wear flares in the story?
Right.
Is that your reason?
no, it's a bit like Yuri Geller, this fella, right, where
yeah.
he's electric,
He's electric.
and if he walks past the telly would fizz. If he walked past the radio, it all goes like that.
Oh.
His hair stuck up all the time, and he'd be having a bath, and everything would be all right, and then the power would sort of switch on in his body, and the electric in his body made him jump out of the bath. So,
What do you mean so? What is that so? What does that so mean? You've given us nothing. You've given us nothing.
You'd have to at least give us the scientific explanation.
Yeah.
electric eels have 400 volts in them.
Oh, is this the running away again?
What was that one called?
Yeah, but but
It's not his volt.
but there's a reason they not his fault. It's not his fault. I thought it was going to be something about keeping it in a safe.
I think we should do these the other way round. I
It's
think you
not
should
his
tell us
fault.
the story and then we'll hear the pun.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Right, let's leave it.
Play a tune.
Forget it.
Educating Ricky.
Doing it. We're not doing it.
No, we are. Oh. What? Don't look at me like that.
Oh, Carl, you're in a bad mood.
The Coral,
I'm all
dreaming of you. Right, do the last one. Do the last one. Carl's saying we're never doing this again because we don't appreciate it. Yeah, Carl, you don't know how good this feature is, mate.
Right, last one.
Yeah.
Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Go on and tell me about that one. What's that? What am I going to learn from this?
Right, well, do you know the saying, pot a sock in it?
I like it already.
Do you know the saying?
Yeah.
Right, well, do you know where it comes from?
I assume it's shut up, so I'll stuff your mouth with a sock to shut you up.
Years ago.
Yeah. Sorry, am I right?
No, not really. Ages ago.
1970s?
50s,
Okay.
I'd say. Do you know the old,
I'd say.
do you know the old gramophone?
Yeah.
With the big horn on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, well, those stereos didn't have a volume control on them. Right? So they'd be listening
Oh,
to
so you
the
put a
album,
sock in the...
and
mute.
you'd put something like a sock.
That's a real one, you see. That's taught me something. That's good. That's excellent, Carl. That is the only one that counts, like chewing the fat, if they're true. I'm assuming they are. It works. It's of interest. I haven't got it verified yet, but that is educating Ricky. That's brilliant. I will say the other two were more entertaining. So, you know, I don't...
Do you understand the distinction, though, between that one and Electrical Man?
and, or I've hit me head, I can hear you, Mum.
Yeah. Can you see the difference, though? Or...
Not
all
really,
three-
because when I read all three, I took something away from all of them.
What did you take away from
the
the
other
Electrical
two?
Man?
I just thought, oh, imagine that. Imagine how annoying that would be.
But that's
Yeah.
not education, is
And
it
it's
really?
not taking anything
No, but
away.
Think about it, right? We take our lives for granted all the time, don't you? You get up in the morning, it's like, oh, I'll get up and walk for a shower. Some people can't walk. right?
Yeah.
This guy, he can't even have a, you know what I mean? It's nice to have a bath, isn't it, when you got time on your hands and you can relax. This guy can't even do that. He might be alright for a bit, but he's not really enjoying it, because at any moment, it could strike.
Yeah.
So, he can't even do that. He can't comb his hair, because it keeps going a mess.
Yeah.
He can't watch his
Nor can
favourite...
you.
No, he can't.
Does he fight crime? What does he do with his powers?
I think he just has to sit around, because he can't work with machinery.
Right.
Because he'll probably blow a fuse.
Yeah, so he just sits around.
Think about it, what can he do? What normal things can he do?
Skateboarding.
Going for long walks.
Yeah.
Put a wetsuit on.
Well, he can't do that.
Why?
Ooh, water and electric.
No, wetsuits aren't actually wet. They're dry initially.
Just put a whole wetsuit on and walk round with flippers and
A
rub the
wetsuit's
sole.
not like a dinner jacket that's like really wet.
Well, all I'm saying is think. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And what was the other one
And
again?
the girl's deaf, 4 years hits her head.
Yeah. That's just.
What have you learned from that?
What is that?
Well, imagine how happy you'd be. Remember that time when I nearly died when I choked on a Mr. Freeze pop? Right?
No, tell us that one again.
No, I told you, didn't I?
Tell us again.
Yeah, but the people will remember it, and then it's.
They weren't listening. Go on. What happened?
It was ages ago when my mum and dad used to go out shopping on a Friday.
1970s?
Get the food in. get a week's load of food in the cupboard and that, and we'd, they'd come in with all the food, and we'd all be like, oh god, there's no food left on a Thursday really, so we'd all be hungry on the Friday by the time the food got in.
I love that.
And
That
I'd
they
be
wouldn't
like-
either. I imagine him like jackal puppies.
Yeah.
Just like licking your parents' mouth for food as they
So-
come through the door.
So they come in from the supermarket, they're emptying the box. Our kid had got some biscuits and what have you.
Frenzy, just a feeding frenzy, like pigeons.
I grabbed the Mr. Freeze pop and knocked it back really quick, but it wasn't frozen, so I knocked it back so it was like a liquid, and it went down the wrong way, right, and I was choking, right, and I nearly died. It must have been about, how long can you go before you die?
A couple of minutes to do
Right,
it.
I reckon about 1:50. Right, I was really close to dying.
How do you know you were close to dying? Did your life flash before you?
No, but I just was like,
There's loads of instances of him eating pops.
Yeah, exactly.
I just was dead.
40 of those.
whatever, right?
What do
anyway.
you think you'd see if your life flashed past you? What do you think, which elements would stand out for you, do you think?
What? Start now, go back. What do you remember? What's the first thing you remember?
As a kid.
Yeah, just anything
Right,
now.
Being in the hall and having our dog licking my face.
That's your earliest memory?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Right, next one's probably
What?
being at primary school with Lindsay.
Yeah.
Was that your girlfriend?
Well, a little friend who was a girl.
Sure.
And we used to have like tins with letters in, and you'd have to write stuff. But anyway, what are we doing?
I got confused.
Right, so anyway,
I'm intrigued by the dog that was licking your face.
well, bin that.
We won't win that.
no, it's a great feature. I just think you need to be a little bit more careful about what you consider to be education.
You've gone
Alright,
funny. I fell over.
Alright, well,
Well, we'll work on it next week. Play a tune, and what have you got for us? Because we've got a big competition.
We've
Come
got to
on.
do the competition. We've only got 25
Yeah, well, come on
minutes.
then,
Don't worry
quick
about
then.
it, Carl.
Do
Play a
something,
tune.
play
We'll
a
come back with
tune.
Rockbusters.
What are we playing?
Let's play a bit of Tupac.
Oh, that's what I'm coming out to, isn't it? The fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine it.
Whack it up. Whack it up.
Can't stop growing.
Placebo. This picture on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington.
Right.
So you've been educated there, haven't you? The
Yeah, it's
Trojan
all right.
horse.
Yeah.
The Trojan horse. And that's of course where the phrase, beware Greeks bearing gifts, comes from.
Silence again.
Yeah. You ever heard of that one?
Go on. What's that again?
Beware Greeks bearing gifts.
Right.
What do you think that means?
I don't know. I mean, what is that? Is that used worldwide or what? Will they say that in Greece as well, or? Because I imagine Christmas Day is rubbish.
No, it doesn't actually mean beware of Greeks bearing gifts. It's more to do with, like, maybe it's too good to be true, or, you know. It's the opposite to don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, probably where it came from as well. Go
Justin
on.
from Southend emailed in. He just said, for the Trojans not to have spotted that it was a trick, they must have been the biggest bunch of moronic, ever to have walked the earth. Does Carl have any Trojan in him by any chance?
Cheeky, innit?
Eh?
What?
Never mind. I think that probably proves it.
I thought of another one I like as well. I was saying, you may as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb.
I've never heard. I don't think I've heard that. I have heard, but I don't think I've ever used it in common parlance.
Well, it's like if you're going to do something, you know, you might as well go the whole hog, depending on the outcome, because it's based on reality. That's why I like it, because obviously the poor people used to poach, and if they were caught stealing, you know, a sheep or anything, they would be hung. So if you're going to get caught, don't steal a lamb. You know, at least feed your family for a few weeks.
Right, sure.
Kill a sheep.
Yeah.
Actually hung for killing a sheep.
Harsh. Your dad would be in trouble down in Wales, stealing stuff from that
Oh.
from that phone box.
Well, he has a couple of sayings, right?
Your father.
Yeah, I've never asked him what they mean.
Why would you? Ask
What?
Suzanne.
One is, don't try and teach your granny to suck eggs.
Yeah.
Well,
does that mean?
That means it's patronising. Of course I know that. You're talking to someone who knows more about this subject than you.
But how did that happen then? How did that saying come about?
Well, it's not. It's a totally made up thing. It's like your granny sucks eggs, doesn't she? Because she's older than you, and it's probably a lost art or something.
Right. And the other one,
Sucks eggs.
sucks
Yeah,
eggs, yeah.
Sucks eggs. Sorry, I thought you said something else.
Don't nudge your granny when she's shaving.
What?
Sorry.
Don't nudge your granny while she's shaving.
Don't nudge your... Sorry, say
Well,
that
that's
slower. I can't...
Don't
nudge
nudge
your granny when she's having a shave.
Well, what is that in context? 'Cause I can't work out what the analogy is there, because that might just be you when you were little, you used to run up to your granny while she was shaving or something.
But what?
As you
Why
get-
is your granny shaving?
Well, no, what context is that said in? Tell me the last time your dad ever said that, and I'll try and work out what it means.
Can't remember. I can't. I don't
Are you
know.
sure these aren't specific to your granny?
I was to say, were you nudging your granny? She was going,
Yeah.
"Get lost, Carl,"
She was shaving off her moustache.
or giving herself a Brazilian.
That's grotesque. Suck an egg, suck an egg, suck an egg. Try and get that instead.
Oh,
That's what- yeah.
God, that's made
Yeah,
it
made it
worse.
worse.
Carl's granny sucking eggs. Whilst that's that is
Giving
my.
herself a Brazilian. We've no idea. I don't know what that means. Don't nudge your granny while she's shaving. What,
Yeah.
parmesan?
I don't know. Maybe someone knows. You might be right. Maybe.
Well,
it's just
email
someone-
in. Tell us.
Right. Anyway, Better Monkey News. That's been sent in.
Right.
Gareth in Catford.
Right.
Good work, Gary.
Basically, it's about this monkey
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
in the jungle. It's got a gig at an hairdresser's.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
It's got itself a nice little job going in an hairdresser's.
As what?
It gets people sitting down, and what it does before the people have their hair cut, that it sort of sits there, and it goes through people's hair, makes sure it's clean, and people are loving it.
Right,
People-
backtrack
So
slightly.
it's a pet monkey. It's nothing to do with it getting a gig in an hairdresser's. It's a pet monkey.
It's not working at Monkey and Guy.
Yeah.
No, seriously, it's in there. I think it might have started off as a job, and then
So what does it
put
say? It says junior £15, stylist £35, monkey £63.
Sorry, I didn't quite follow. It's in the jungle.
It was wandering about.
Right.
Maybe it did
But
start
it
off.
looks good, its hair looks good. Someone thought, hang
Yeah, but
on.
never ever. You see, people make that mistake with hairdressers anyway. I always say, well, if the hairdresser's got a good haircut, go to where he's going,
Right.
right? Because that's what I thought when I read it about having a good haircut.
How often
right?
do you go to the hairdressers?
Well, not that much anymore, but I used to always think that.
Yeah.
You used to go to a bloke who told me had his shack on a railway bridge that used to shake when a train went over.
Yeah.
Because it was £2.
Yeah, but before that, I've never had that much luck with hairdressers. Before that was another place, and it was run by sort of, you know, these sort of wannabe gangster type people.
Oh yeah.
But they'd, you know, you'd go in
What
for
do you mean by
haircut.
wannabe gangsters?
Well, sort of just petty crime stuff. You'd go in for a haircut and then you'd walk out with a video recorder. Do you know what I mean?
You
You'd
don't
say-
have to take it.
No, but they'd sort of spend ages flogging you that whilst cutting your hair. It was their thing. It's like, right, sit down, you alright?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Something
know.
for the weekend? What do you think of? Maybe a Sony. Yeah.
So that's when I stopped going there, because it was like, just what a haircut. I don't want to be hassled. by
Which
and
one
stuff.
said that you had the hair of a Chinaman?
It's the fella who worked in a railway station haircut.
Well, he should
saloon.
know. I mean, he's been around a bit, clearly, if he runs a shack next to a railway station.
So,
Can we just go back to monkey news for a second?
so anyway, that's all, yeah.
I didn't quite follow why his salon is in the jungle, or where is it?
No, he was doing what he does in the jungle, right?
Right.
He's walking about, he wanders into the hairdressers.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have him on, like, as a job straight away, he was just there.
was
He said,
training,
this is
yeah.
nice. He's sat there picking the knits and what have you.
Carl, I don't know where to start.
Then-
it's just it's the embellishment. You don't walk in. He walked from a jungle to an hairdresser's. I mean, you're an idiot. You really are. An idiot. I'd love to see you try and get a job in an hairdresser if there was another monkey up for it. You'd never get a job.
So he was good at that. People said this is relaxing. Apparently he had really nice hands, soothing,
Yes.
right, on people's heads. They said, let's put him on the payroll. So
Let's put him on the payroll. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, this is the news item, is it? Customers are queuing up to have their hair done at a salon in the jungle
There you go.
by a monkey. Judy, a pig-tailed macaque, has a reputation as the best exterminator of head lice in Con Cane.
There you go.
She is so good, some customers fall asleep under her gentle touch. Regular Amporon Chekema said, Judy's hands are so soft and gentle, I really feel I can relax.
But you know that is doing what it does naturally. It's looking for like salt and stuff in the hair
Yeah.
and nits. It's not on the payroll. It doesn't complain about when it gets deducted at national insurance.
It's not part of the union.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But a good monkey news, you know, backed up with good tabloid journalism.
With solid
Yeah.
evidence there.
So
Now I think maybe we should start marking the monkey news, Rick. I don't know what you think, giving it marks out of 10 maybe. For both interest and validity.
well, for interest, I'll give it 7. For Carl believing that there was something to this monkey, thinking it had a job and getting paid.
That it was also doing kind of perms
2.
and colouring.
2.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Again, ridiculous.
More monkey news next week. Hopefully let's just hear that jingle again.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news. You were studying Aesop's fables, weren't you, this week? Now, I'm going to be very liberal here and let you talk about it. It's not a test. I'm not, hey man, just like chill out. I'm not this like rigid sort of, boxing society. Just tell us your views. Just tell us your vibe on Aesop. Tell us something. What have you learnt from these fables?
He, made a bit of money out of something that's quite simple.
Yeah, I don't know if he did make any money out of it. I mean, I think it was published like thousands of years after his death, but go on.
Yeah, they're just little stories. I mean, enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Didn't learn anything from them.
Or did you see? Because it's teaching through sort of like metaphor and analogy, and maybe it all seeps in and it's all subliminal, and maybe in a way your
but it's
subconscious
silly.
is teaching you.
No, it's silly, Rick. It is silly.
If the stories were done in like a real way, that there's like a man and a woman, and it's a little story that something happened to them in life, then you learn something. But it's all about, a gorilla and a fox are walking through the woods. How often does that happen?
Sure. So you're saying if it was more like
If it was more true to life.
If it was more like, maybe,
if it was
maybe
more
make
like
of yours.
real stories, like a kid on his grifter and a magpie pecking at his head, or 2 frog boys with webbed hands. I mean, if it was real stories from real life
that people could believe actually happened,
maybe it would teach us something.
But why not do that? Like, take a real situation, say like the So Solid Crew guy
yes,
going down for carrying a gun. Use that in some way. Do you know what I mean?
as a warning, maybe about carrying guns.
What about something like if you carry guns and that is illegal, you could have some sort of punishment?
Yeah, that's
Good.
good.
So
It
that's what you
doesn't
mean,
bother
yeah.
you then that the fact that these fables have been used for many, many generations to educate maybe young children or even older people, the fact that they've served a brilliant function and they've become classics, that doesn't bother you? You've seen through them?
Well, they don't always work.
Okay.
When I was out with Rick the other day, he brought one up.
Oh, I told him the one about the 2 mice, the industrious mouse who, throughout the summer, he would be storing berries, nuts and berries, and he'd be storing it, and the other ones would just be eating off the trees and running around and having a laugh. And they go, well, you're going to become hungry. They go, oh, I'll worry about that when it comes to it. And they'd do that, and he'd be storing his nuts and berries, and autumn came, and the mouse was still playing and not doing anything. And then winter came, and the silly mouse was like shivering, and he went and knocked on the mouse's door and went, I'm freezing and I'm starving. And the clever mouse said, well, I told you, didn't I? You should have been storing your nuts through winter like I did. Come in and share mine. And what did you say, Carl?
Well, And the moral of that is whatever.
Yeah, you know, sort of, you know, just be careful. But my thing is that it's not very good, because the moral of that is do what you want, and there's always a do-gooder, a chair there.
Yeah, that's right, sure.
Yeah.
But the way you know, I think, which is more sort of 2002, the ending should have been, you know, the guy with all the berries should have, like, been, like, going, oh, I'll be alright come the winter. I've got loads of food, I'll be safe. But then, as he's going into his little hut at the beginning of the winter, some sort of bus or something comes and kills him.
Right.
And it's like...
You should have partied hard, because you might die.
Yeah. Enjoy life whilst you've got it.
Yeah. Okay, and if winter comes, just starve to death.
Well, you know, worry about tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
That's
See,
my
I'm wondering if there's a new book here. I really am wondering if there's a Carl's Fables.
He's been coming out with some all week. He keeps going, well, that's a fable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your favourite fable in there? Have you learned anything from this book? To get, you know, is there one fable you liked?
Yeah, I mean,
What did you like?
they're all alright.
What did you like?
You've thrown it on me now, there.
Didn't you like one about a crab, you said?
No, that was the one about messing about on a cliff edge or something. Don't mess about on a cliff edge.
What was that?
I don't know. There's not many around here, so I didn't take much interest in that one. You know what I mean?
God.
I'm
doing my best here. I'm
You don't remember any of them?
Here's one.
Go on.
Here's one that was quite nice. There was a belly, you know, like your stomach.
Yeah.
And it's this belly on a pair of legs, and the legs was saying, I'm more important than you because I carry you around. And the belly said, yeah, but, you know, if it weren't for me holding all this food, you wouldn't have the energy to walk around.
Yeah.
And that means, like, you know, rather than working on your own, it's best to work in a team.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the one similar to that I was taught when I was little was a vision of heaven and hell, and it went down to hell, and in hell, right, there was these people had like 20-foot long chopsticks,
yeah.
and they were getting their food, and they couldn't get the chopsticks into the food and get it round to their mouth because they were just too long.
Right.
Right, and that was hell. And in heaven, they had exactly the same thing, but they were feeding each other.
What? Right.
You don't like Chinese food? Is that what you're thinking? Is that what your concern is, Carl?
No, I'm just...
Well, see, the one I remember, I can't remember the ending, but it's about two nuns in a bath.
Yeah, oh, I know.
I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
that
it,
one?
yeah.
Or are they on a bike?
That's two adventures. It's the same nuns, but they go to all sorts of adventures.
They're normally quite erotic adventures.
Well, they are. There was one when they're driving down a cobbled street, I remember.
Oh, go on.
And then there's the other. Then of course they get. Whalebones on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. With me, Steve Merchant, and Carl. Well, Carl, I really don't think you got your teeth into the fables, really. I don't think you...
There wasn't anything to learn. I read a couple, thought, yeah, that's alright, and put it down again. There wasn't anything to learn. It was all stuff I knew already. But made up with nice little foxes and bears and stuff. So...
Yeah. But is that one about, like... That's one we spoke about, like, when the hares are going, we should share all our food, and the lion said, that's a good argument, but it hasn't got the teeth and claws that we've got. That's lovely, because it's sort of like, you know, that's an indictment on sort of, you know, you could say it's an anti-equality almost, you know, you could get really sort of deep into that, you know what I mean? You could, no?
Big philosophical ideas in a nutshell, not interesting?
No, not really.
Okay.
Oh, my car is on. Tim Burgess, brilliant. XFM 104.9. Right. Well, we're running out of time here.
Yeah.
We had Carl in a little film, but I think we've really got time for Monkey News, you know?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Carl?
Yeah, if you want to do that.
Yeah, let's do Monkey News.
Alright.
Play the jingle.
Oh, chimpanzee, that Monkey News.
Right, there's this monkey, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think his name was number 6 or number 7 or something, right? In this lab, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, it's in there with, like, you know, the rabbits and little mice and stuff like that. And
The rabbit smoking.
the nurse, right? The nurse, not the nurse, the woman who works in the lab. What would you call her? A nurse?
Depends. What depends what her job was. If she was a lab assistant, you call her a lab assistant.
Right.
I mean, they probably call her by her name.
Alright, lab assistant, right?
Kirsty.
So she's...
I think it's probably Kirsty.
Right,
Kirsty Morris.
Well, she's in there, right?
Yeah.
And she don't work with many people and that. She's mainly on her own with, you know, just putting lipstick on rabbits and stuff like that, right?
Chimpanzee there?
So,
Chimpanzee. He's putting on lipstick. Chimpanzee. She's got hairy legs.
He gets pally, right, with this woman because. You know, he gets to a point when she sees him every day.
It's the way he tries to string out like it's a narrative love story. The chimp put his hand out and grabbed her, and then you're thinking that he made a move on her.
So,
right, come on,
he's allowed out.
Oh, it's not a story, is it?
He's allowed out of the cage and whatever, anyway, so, he's wandering about, and as time goes on, he's watching what she's doing more and more, right? So, he notices, like, the code on the door. Right. Whatever, 247 or whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, right, I've clocked that, I've got that, I'll remember that, right? And then he goes, right, there's a lot of lipstick and that knocking about, a lot of makeup.
Right, okay. No, there's no way. No! Because, Steve, you know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen.
So he's there.
It's ridiculous.
And he's going, well, if it's there, you know what I mean? So while she's messing about with the rabbit, he gets there, he's in front of the mirror, putting a little bit of lippy on. Right?
No! It's gone too far! No, it's gone too far, Steve.
Right,
Your mic's off, Rick. He's finishing the story.
So-
Turn mine off as well.
And it's looking pretty
I
good.
didn't mention the mascara!
It's looking alright, right? So it knows the code on the door, 247, right? So when she's sort of messing about with the rabbit, right, he goes, right, here's my chance. He's looking good, 247, out the door, reception man's there, he's like, alright, Kirsty, right?
Don't talk shit!
I Feel Free from Cream. That's pretty much the last track, isn't it, guys? I imagine on XFM 104.9.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've got nothing to say after that. Ridiculous story. I mean, that's worse than the bank robbery to me.
Yeah.
That he clocks out, and the bloke on the desk. All right, Kirsty. Oh, you're 2 foot shorter and hairy.
I'll look at her anyway.
She wasn't a looker anyway. Brilliant. Oh, play a record and say to you, we'll see you next week for the last time for a little
Just
while.
Anderson.
Oh, Everest. Oh, I'd love to end with Everest.
See you later. It's brilliant. Going out on a bang. Well, now to one of our most popular features. I mean, this could even rival Monkey News one day. It is Monkey News. It's you know, it's news from the point of view of a monkey, a shaved monkey. It's Carl Pilkington's diary. Oh, he's written it down, yeah.
Was that the jingle, or were you just just annoyed about something? Okay. Went and did the podcast. We had a meeting after. I don't like meetings, as I can't keep focused on what people are talking about. I think Ricky has the same problem as after 25 minutes he was trying to wrestle me. I tried to do what spiders do and stayed still as if I was dead. And Ricky just stayed on top of me, not moving. A bit like when you see one of them big snakes swallowing a sheep. Ricky got bored and released me. I went home thinking, why had I left my old job for this? A homeless man asked me for some money, but I didn't feel like I should treat him, as I felt that he'd probably had a better day than me. Oh, God. Suzanne called me to say she'd gone for a haircut, and that she'd meet me in the supermarket. I went to the supermarket, but she wasn't there. I called her and she said she was near the fruit aisle. I went to the fruit aisle and she wasn't there. Turns out she was in a different supermarket on the other side of town. And that if I'd listened to her properly, I'd have known that. I didn't want to say that
Well, you just went to the first supermarket you thought of, as opposed to listening to what supermarket. I'm in the supermarket. Alright, bye.
I didn't want to say that I hadn't heard her properly, because my ears were ringing a bit from the wrestling from earlier. 25 minutes later, I met up with Suzanne. Her haircut wasn't that bad. Normally her haircuts are followed by an argument between us, as she pays over the odds for some daft haircut that's the latest style.
Brilliant.
I wish she'd take a picture out of a magazine or ask for a style rather than letting the hairdresser do what she wants. I said I only tell her to do this as she's got a square head, and a close-cut hairdo makes it look squarer. She said, what do you think of this cut? I said it looked alright, as I couldn't be bothered arguing about it. It's weird writing a diary. I don't know who thought of doing one of these first. The last time I did one was at school. They used to get you to do it so they could keep an eye on whatever you were up to. My diary used to say the same thing every night. Got home, went to the shop to get potatoes, bread, milk. Went home, watched telly, went to bed. I think I might have gone to Twiggy's Dance Club just so I had something different to write. You've not told us about Twiggy's Dance Club.
It's just, you know, I sort of, when I was a kid, I sort of gave everything a bit of a go. I did boxing and that, didn't I? Gave that a go.
About 45 minutes.
And, yeah, a mate sort of said, oh, you know, you're into your dancing, your robotics and that, you're doing your body popping, right? Body popping and that. He said, you ought to come to Twiggy's. And, I went there, but I didn't go in, it was shut. They were just having like loads of toilet rolls delivered. I think like they were like using it as a storage place for toilet rolls and that. So I said, oh, I've come to have a dance. And like, oh, not tonight. Come back tomorrow. I never went back.
Brilliant. What a waste of an anecdote. Right. Brilliant.
Just to recap, you're convinced then that the teachers are asking you to keep diaries so they can keep tabs on you. And then to continue the diary, as there were more problems happening on the estate, they started to add Saturday and Sundays to the school diary to keep an eye on what we were doing at the weekend. I struggled to fill it on a Sunday, as the shop I got potatoes and bread from was shut on a Sunday. I had to go over to Shepherd's Bush to meet someone. I got the tube. There was a badly burnt man on the tube. It's amazing how the body can continue through quite a lot of bad stuff. It got me thinking about how much stuff you could remove in your body, one by one, without dying. If it was a competition, the cockroach would win, as it can live for a week without a head.
I just mean, like, say if, you know, they run out of ideas for TV programmes and that, right? They get someone who isn't well. They go, look, do you mind if we make a programme on you? And what they do, they sit them in the bed, and they go, right, what we're going to do now is take out the heart, but replace it with a pacemaker. Right,
No. Sorry, people with pacemakers don't have their heart taken out and a pacemaker popped in.
Alright then, some sort of machine. What I'm getting to is...
Have you been playing Operation?
What I mean is, the big finale would just be a head chatting with loads of wires going into it, and it's like, look what we can do with science.
That's what the programme's called. It's the same every week. The volunteer is just a head with loads of wires coming out of it.
Look what we can do with science.
And he's going,
goodbye.
Oh, I feel ill.
Got some post delivered to me today. It was... Oh, this is great.
This makes it in the diary.
Got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington.
I don't know why that's so funny. Oh, God.
I got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington. I opened it, and the first sentence read, Dear Mr. K. Dilkington, you're one of our most valuable customers. I put it in the bin. Thought I would learn some new words, as Steve always says I don't use enough different words. I read in the Fortean Times that the word whew means an ugly female ghost with drooping breasts.
What do you mean?
Is that how am I pronouncing that right?
Who's using that word? Who is using that word?
It was just W-E-W-E.
Let's call it a woo. An ugly female ghost with drooping breasts. I think I'm right when I say there are too many words in the world. I don't think I will ever get round to using the word woo. Watched a health programme. Wasn't watching it properly, but heard some doctors say that we only get so many heartbeats in a lifetime, so don't do too much exercise. I told Suzanne, and she said I probably hadn't heard it right. We got talking about death. Suzanne said she didn't like thinking about it. I said she might end up being a woo. I was chuffed as I'd managed to use my new word. I went to the supermarket to get tonight's tea. On the way, I stopped and looked in the fishmongers at all the different fish they had in the window. It's like a child in one of those kids' TV shows.
I know.
Mr. Pilkington went to the fishmonger. He stopped and looked at all the fish in the window.
Hello, Mr. Dilkington, they said.
There was a newspaper clipping stuck on the glass about a two-headed fish that they've made in Taiwan. I don't see the point in doing this, as a fish having two heads ain't gonna solve the world's hunger problems, as the head is the bit you throw away. Invent a fish with two bodies, and I'd say well done.
Good point, isn't it?
Suzanne watched one of her favourite TV programmes. I've told her the telly only goes on if there's something she wants to watch. If there's nothing on, she has to talk to me about stuff I've learnt. Like Descartes. Watched a programme on him the other day. He is the one who said something like, I know I'm about because I dream. Doesn't work for everything because ants don't sleep. I don't know if I'd like that or not. You don't know if you would like it if you didn't ever
Not
sleep.
sleeping. It's just one long day. I don't know. Don't know how you put up with that. Do you think it'd be a good idea?
No.
Why not?
Because, as you said, it would get a bit boring. You know, you'd sleep as your rest, your time off. It helps you detoxify. It helps you sort of think things through on a subconscious level. You know.
Well, don't you ever get it where, I mean, sometimes it's brilliant to have a sleep when you're tired, but don't you sometimes feel
that's
like...
the best time to have a sleep, when you're tired.
No, but sometimes when you go to bed and you're not that tired and you're kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to waste some hours of my life now and I'm not really in the mood for this.
Well, that's just wishing you had longer on this earth doing creative things. I mean, if you didn't have to sleep, you could spend more time talking to a tortoise and going to the toffee shop.
Yeah. Competition time, Carl?
Oh, Carl's looking forward to this. He's just getting all stressed about his half hour, like Pete. Oh, go on.
No, it's
sorry.
just, we should have done this a lot earlier.
Why?
It keeps them hooked in. Right, if you haven't heard the game before, I'll give you some initials, bit of a cryptic clue, and those initials and the cryptic clue makes up some band. Might not be an XFM band, but it's a band or a pop group or an artist or something.
Yeah.
It's on
What's
email.
the feature called, though? What's the feature
It's called
called?
Rockbusters.
Rockbusters, yeah?
Really?
Do you want to, will we do this on email?
I think we ought to, because you don't like taking calls from the public, do you?
Well, you can't work the machine.
No, that's absolutely right.
It's not that, it's just that then it's pretty fair for everyone. Because
Anyone who's got a computer, you mean? So it's open to anyone who's got, you know, a computer or a laptop at their disposal at this precise moment.
Anyway, there's some cracking prizes, Rick, you'll be pleased to know, that obviously, once again, Carl has managed to collect together an arbitrary assortment of
Just looking
giveaway stuff.
around the office.
I mean, where did you get these from? Did you I mean, seriously, where did you get them from? Because it's
Right,
such an arbitrary
what
collection.
have we got there?
I don't know what kind of a person would want these items.
Right,
It's such an arbitrary selection, I don't know what kind of person you'd be.
read them out, what have we got?
Well, there's another XFM compilation, which you've nicked from somewhere in the office.
Yeah, it's
Fair
a
enough.
good compilation remix to the
There's
album.
an album here, which is a promo album with two pigs on the front. I think it's the Smashing Pumpkins
Frankie
Live.
Saunders.
I can't be certain. This is the album. Didn't we give this one away last week? This is
yeah.
just an arbitrary compilation album. Again, one of those kind of...
Is that the actual one you didn't send, Carl?
No.
To say-
I've
got a couple
I've
of
got a
these,
job lot of them.
Surprise,
Honest?
surprise, The Office
Oh.
on DVD, which is ludicrous.
Oh, I've seen it from here. What film? If it, listen, dear XFM listener, it's 2:30. You know, it's a bit windy out. You're
Probably gonna stay in this evening.
Maybe do a bit of shopping. You got, and then in a sense, even. Oh, what film would you really want? No, I mean seriously. Think if you could see one film, right? What would you want to see?
DVD.
One of the
DVD.
big releases.
Yeah, it's great. We'll put them out of their misery, Steve. They'll be watching this tonight if they're a lucky winner.
It's the movie Stigmata. Stigmata with Patricia Arquette and Gabriel Byrne. So look forward to that.
That's great.
That's the big one.
That is brilliant.
You're playing
oh,
for.
look at Carl's face. He's actually offended because he's the only one that puts any work into this show, and he's got competitions. He's got Educating Ricky, Rockbuster. He's got
the song with a story.
He's got a song with a story to come that he's like gone through them. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So you're playing for that collection of arbitrary goodies plus the big prize this week, Stigmata, featuring Gabriel Byrne.
Oh dear.
About a
Go on,
woman
then.
who I think starts bleeding from the hands. It's a horror film, I think. You have to be 18 or over
I've
to
seen
take
it.
part.
It's not terrible.
Sure.
It's all right. But
Is it better than Children of the Corn, which was the big giveaway last week?
I haven't seen Children of the Corn. Go on then.
Right, so
Next
where's-
week, Teen Wolf 2.
Go on.
Here's
Go on.
the
And Tony Banks's own solo album, Bank Statement. Tony Banks, remember, is the musician from the Much Loved Genesis, but we got that album to give away.
Alright then, so right.
To win those exclusive prizes.
Yeah,
Go on.
yeah, you've got to email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
I saw a sellotape dispenser out in the office
There's
as
a
well, if
pair
you
of
want-
gloves that I don't know who's out, but they're out there and they've been there for a week. So
Let's
a
send them
pair
as
of
well.
gloves, a sellotape dispenser, and Tony Banks's solo album, Bank Statement.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Right, first one. Initials JT.
Initials JT. What's the cryptic clue?
Cryptic clue. At the moment, I'm in a river full of logs.
Hold on.
Yeah?
JT, and what's the clue again?
At the moment, I'm in a river full of logs.
Full of logs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, who could it be? JT. At the moment, I'm in a river full of logs.
Yeah, go on,
Right,
next one.
second one, there's 3 of them you gotta get. Letter is W.
Yeah.
The clue, that lad's got bad asthma.
That lad has got bad
I've got that
asthma.
one already. I've got that
Yeah,
one already.
W.
Yeah.
And
okay.
finally, the last one is the letter C.
Yeah.
And, the cryptic clue,
Is Carl is one of these.
Mousetrap is that musical, isn't it? This isn't the clue, by the way. It is called Mousetrap, isn't it?
There's not a musical.
It's not a musical, but it's a whodunit sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Right, here's a clue. I saw that,
Imagine that. Imagine that on the real blockbusters.
Yeah, mate. Bob Owen's going, oh, can we stop a minute? Oi, you with the 9 teddy bears there. Mousetrap, that's a show, isn't it? I think so, Bob, yeah. Right, okay, here we go.
Yeah, carry on. So the camera's back on?
Yeah.
So the letter is C, and the cryptic clue. I saw that Mousetrap the other night, but the heating in the theatre was knackered.
What?
The heating in the theatre was knackered, right? Ruined it.
Well, I've got that one already as well.
Yeah?
I mean, these are, the first one's hard, but those two
So
are
just a quick
ridiculous.
reminder, JT was the first one.
At the moment, I'm in a river full of logs.
Full of logs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second one, W, that lad's got bad asthma.
Uh-huh.
And the last one, C, I saw that Mousetrap the other night, but the heating in the theatre was knackered, and it ruined the whole thing.
Okay. And ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk is the email address. You can win
I'm confused with the
various
river full of logs,
treats,
actually.
including
I'm in a
Stigmata.
I'm in
with
a
Gabriel
river full
Byrne.
of logs.
Yeah.
I'm in a river full of logs.
Well, we'll do it in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, you've
20
got to
minutes
stay
think
tuned
about
for the
it.
answers.
It's not the quickest, so don't go rushing and sort of messing it up. Think about it.
They've got to be given away, Rick. They've got to be given away.
This is Rockbuster.
We've got, obviously the big prize Stigmata this week.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give the prize to Ira, I think it's Ira or Ira, but she or he emailed in the right answers and then said if you could enclose the receipt for Stigmata, that would be much appreciated. But I'm amazed by the number of responses we've had.
And someone wants a copy of Tony Banks's solo album, which I was mucking around, so we better buy that in the week to give it away, because I think that would be an amazing prize to give away.
If you just give the clues
do
again,
the clues and then just give the answer. Come on.
What the answers are.
Right, well, the one that everyone was struggling with was the first one.
Yeah.
I'll save that, so we'll go to the second one. W,
Yeah,
that lad's got bad asthma.
yeah, we know that.
That was Weezer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one, well done.
The last one, C, the clue was, I saw that Mousetrap the other day, the heating was knackered in the restaurant.
In
Yeah.
the
In the,
restaurant?
in the theatre.
Yeah.
And it ruined the night.
Yeah, so it was a cold play, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a cold
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
And JT, at the moment, I'm
No,
in
I
a
can't
river,
think of this one.
at the moment, I'm in a river full of logs.
Well, I have to say there were some wrong answers. What was it again?
It was Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake. We had some wrong answers that included Jethro Tull and James Taylor. I don't know how that relates to it at all.
I'm annoyed at Lake when he clearly said river. I mean, that's the first thing that cropped up. Not I'm in some water full of logs at the moment. Yeah, I'm in some water full of logs. But he actually had to say river, so not lake. That annoys me. I mean, I didn't get it. Fair enough. I should have worked it out. I should have tried to think
lot of
like
people
you.
did get it.
A lot of people obviously think like you, which is which I'm, you know, worried about. But yeah, James Taylor is great. Hyde's main offender, XFM 104.9. Wow, it's that time in the show where I test Carl on his
Homework.
yeah, for the week, history, the re-education of Carl Pilkington. As you know, we found out last week that he'd taken one GCSE and he'd got an E, and it was history.
Do you know, Steve, I haven't told you this, went shopping on Sunday, buy some new jeans, was in a shop, saw an old lad who I haven't seen for about 2.5 years, went, "You alright, mate, how you doing?" First thing he said, "Sorry to hear about your exam results."
God.
I
Had
just-
he listened to the show, or someone had
yeah,
just told
yeah, he
him?
was on a train listening to it on the way to a football match or something.
He knew that you were on the show, did he? He was a
Yeah.
regular listener.
First thing he said,
Wow.
"So sorry about your exam results."
Haven't people have been coming up to you in the station going, "You
Yeah,
alright,
right.
do you want to talk about it?" Or
God.
I know.
well, you did take it pretty badly for a 29-year-old man.
Just a bit of a shock, because it annoyed me that...
It wasn't a shock. You
No.
knew you hadn't got any.
No, I thought I'd have got a bit more than that. I wasn't expecting, you know.
But you didn't even think you took history, so that must have been a bonus.
Yeah, that's what my girlfriend said.
Yeah.
So, well,
Didn't
yes-
she say something quite philosophical, which was like, you know, you didn't even have a knee this morning?
Yeah, she said yesterday, you know, you didn't have anything
Yeah.
today,
Exactly.
which was good.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway, okay then. Well, you were tested on Che Guevara. Right, Carl.
We should hang on. We should just remind people what happened because
This is a little series. I've got lots of these little books, right? They're about like 2.5 inches long by about 2 inches wide. Those tiny little things you see in the sort of on the front counter of Waterstones or Smiths, and it's the Life and Times, a series of all the greats in history. Last week you read about Rasputin. You wasn't impressed.
no.
This
This
week,
book's a little bit thicker than the Rasputin one.
no, it's the same. I think was it? Maybe the writing's
Bigger
smaller.
writing or something.
But okay, Che Guevara. Who was Che Guevara? Just now, you learnt to pronounce it, right? And how do you remember? You told me the week how you remembered what his name was.
Che is like shake, and his surname is like guitar.
Right.
Shavar.
Okay.
But anyway, right.
Tell us what you know, and we'll ask.
Right. First of all, his name isn't really Che.
Right.
It was something else, and Che means buddy
Okay.
in wherever he's from Argentina. Right. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So anyway, he was born, and he was.
By the way, Carl's not reading this from a book now. This is all out of his own head.
This
Could I
is
just-
not pre-planned notes.
No, this is. I mean, I know
never
it
helped.
sounds written, but he's just
Yeah.
ripping
Right. Here
on
we
this.
go. Here we go.
Go on.
He was born. He had bad asthma as a kid,
Right.
which I thought was quite interesting because they didn't have cars and that back then, and that's what they're blaming asthma on these days. The bad build-up of traffic and that.
Well, they
So,
did have cars, Carl.
not as many as they have now.
Okay.
So that was something I picked up early in
yeah.
the story.
He had asthma, yeah.
His dad was into he wasn't a politician or anything, but he was, they were into the politics.
Sure.
So he sort of grew up around a family who was into, watching the news and that and keeping up to date on
Yeah,
what's going on
yeah.
in the world. So that sort of rubbed off on him. He went to school. He was doing stuff on medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to be a doctor, or he thought he did.
Yep.
Anyway, he learned really quick. He did like 6 months work in about 3 months. So he could have some time off school or something.
Right.
So he took that time off
Yeah.
and went to travel South America with his mate
Okay.
on a motorbike.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he saw all this bad going on in the world, and he thought, oh, this is bad, this.
Yeah.
I could do something here. I could
Yeah.
change this, make it a nicer place to live. So he said, what I'm going to do is join a gang
Right.
that sort of is against the like the government,
Yep.
Right.
right? Am I right so far?
Yeah.
You're doing very well.
Right, and the woman who he met, who was like running this gang, is a woman called Hilda, who he later married.
All right.
And Hilda introduced him to Castro,
Right.
who was like the head cheese of the gang,
Right.
who wanted to change things.
Okay.
And so she said, like, this is I think his real name was Engelbert or something like that.
Ernesto.
What?
Ernesto.
Ernesto. She said, this is Ernesto. He does medicine. Should have him in our sort of army. So
Yeah.
when there's injuries and that, he can make people better. So he said, yeah, all right then. So he joined the gang, and they went like went to sort of. I'm chopping it down a bit.
No.
Oh,
this is-
sure. You're condensing
It's
this.
not. It's not in real time.
No.
So anyway, so they go.
It feels
to,
like it.
you see, this is why I just wanted to you to ask me questions.
Well, listen. Let's cut to the chase then. So,
Okay,
obviously, he made his name as part of the Cuban Revolution.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what date that was?
About. No, I don't.
Okay. And obviously, so he was a big involvement in that.
Yeah.
In which country was he caught?
It was caught in Bolivia.
Yeah. How did he die?
They executed him.
Yeah.
They shot him, and his last words before he died, right? The guy's there with the gun, and he wasn't scared. He wasn't like crying or anything. He said to the bloke with the gun, he said, "Go on, shoot me. Be a man."
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
and they shot him.
And did it tell you what happened to him after that? His dead body?
No, but Suzanne was telling me about this the other night. She said there's more to it than that. They stuck it in a glass coffin, didn't
Yes.
they?
Yeah.
Well, no. But before that, they cut off his hands and his feet.
and sent him to the.
No, and because they buried him in different places, and then they buried the body I think they may have sent their hands to Fidel, but they buried him in an unmarked grave because they didn't want anyone to start using his grave or his tomb as a place of martyrdom. But of course, that just made him even more of a martyr because no one knew where he was buried. So it just meant that he was even more of a...
Yeah, but that wouldn't work anyway, because if they did find out, that's more places people can go and sort of grieve. Do you know what I mean? If you've got all these different graves...
What, with different parts of his body?
Well, you've got a foot over there, and it's like, well, you know, oh God.
His head over there.
Thanks for what you're doing.
You piece of genius.
Yeah.
So all in all,
essentially, what's your summary of Che?
Yeah, you like him more than Rasputin, don't you?
A lot better bloke than Rasputin. I can understand why he gets one of those little books. Well worth knowing about, and good bloke. Did a lot, you know.
Crammed a lot into his short life.
Yeah. But, yeah, interesting bloke.
But just on the subject of Che Guevara, Steve called me up in the week because he was going through the duty log. We love the complaints on the BBC duty log, and someone had written in because one of the Blue Peter presenters was wearing a Che Guevara T-shirt, and what did the bloke say?
Yeah, this is a series of people can phone in and write and complain to the BBC about different things.
Why would you complain about wearing something?
Well, this was the thing. Is you complain about the best one. I mean, there's been some amazing complaints.
Oh, there's some great ones.
The best one, my favourite one that wasn't a complaint, but was actually just someone had to phone in, was what an excellent edition of Kilroy this morning.
Yeah, but there's lots of that. There's things like Esther was superb. Woman call one.
Woman called. There was a brilliant one I remember once, which was Robbie Williams was wearing a Nike T-shirt on Top of the Pops last night. Product placement on the BBC.
It's just all things like that. Yeah.
But anyway, this was one phone call. There was a presenter on Blue Peter. She was wearing a T-shirt with Che Guevara's face on it.
Right.
And someone had written in and said, or someone had phoned in and said, very worried to see a presenter wearing Che Guevara's face on a T-shirt. Are you trying to turn my children into communist revolutionaries?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine who's thinking that. Who's bothering to phone up with that information, Carl?
Yeah.
Who knows what they're going to say about this show?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been championing the work of communist revolution.
Luckily, no one listening to this show can either write or operate a phone. So I think we're pretty safe. So thumbs up for Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Well done to Carl there.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
I did
brilliant.
alright, didn't I?
But the thing is, you keep saying to us you don't understand why history's interesting, and yet you're clearly interested by that. You remembered that
Carl,
information.
I've got another. I've got a few in the series. Can I give you next week's homework?
Go on.
There you go.
Oh.
Read it out.
Hitler.
Hitler, the life and times of Hitler.
1889 to 1945.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know much about him?
What was the significance of that last date? Why did he? What was that last date, Carl? Why do you think he died in 1945?
End of the war.
Yeah.
Which I'm interested in. So this.
Yeah.
This will have stuff about Anderson shelters and that.
It might not be covered in the Hitler biography, the Anderson Shelter, but
just check if there was a special Anderson chapter, Anderson Shelter chapter.
Well, I'll look forward to this.
Yeah,
Be interesting.
Powdered Egg is page 4.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're going to play a hip hop.
Yeah, it's time for a hip hop hooray. People are absolutely in love with this feature, Rick, as you well know, and I know you're somewhat jealous of it.
Yeah.
This week, I know that Outkast are currently on the playlist, aren't they, with their new single "Whole of the World"? Is that
Yep.
all? The whole world. Anyway, this is a track from the big compilation Outkast. It's just a sort of compilation of all their greatest hits, and this is a good one. It's called Rosa Parks. Play it, Carl. Their greatest hits album, that's Outkast, and a track called Rosa Parks.
Like it.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Now, we just had a call from someone impressed by Carl, and Carl's very pleased because this guy has actually done a PhD on Che Guevara. So in theory, whatever subject he chose, in theory, he's probably one of the experts in the world on this particular field. Now, hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's David.
David, now where did you do your PhD?
Did it at UCL.
Did it at UCL, mild college. And what was the actual title of the PhD?
It was Che Guevara's influence on class struggle in Europe in the 60s.
And what did you think of Carl's performance?
I thought he did really, really well. The only thing I'd never heard those last words before.
So Carl actually knows something you don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Although you presumably not take that as verified information. You probably wouldn't take everything Carl said as gospel. You'd probably look it up yourself, would you?
I probably would have a look, yeah.
Did you know about baby's eyes?
Sorry?
Did you know that baby's eyes don't grow?
I didn't know that.
You see, that's why you shouldn't take things Carl says as gospel. Because it'll come out with something, you know, vaguely intelligent, and then say, "Did you know about baby's eyes don't grow?"
Any questions that you'd want to test Carl on? Any thoughts? Any things he missed there on the history of Che Guevara?
I think he did really well, and I think he should be congratulated.
What? No, because Carl has problems with understanding why people are interested in history, and even though he's been reading these books, he keeps saying, "Why does anyone care about history? Why is it important?" What would you say to Carl?
I think he should maybe then look at who Che Guevara did influence and why he still influences people today.
Yeah. Well, he knows that he influenced Citizen Smith, and he knows that if McDonald's ever wanted to swap Ronald McDonald for Che Guevara, it would cost him an awful lot of money. So he is trying to apply it to the modern world. He is having a go.
Well, maybe you should think like why Rage Against the Machine have him on their T-shirts.
Good point, Carl. What do you think of that? Why do you think they have him on the T-shirts, Carl?
I don't know. Maybe that was the design of the T-shirt. Maybe they wanted another T-shirt.
Maybe they wanted Ronald McDonald,
but didn't have any in.
Sure.
And they said, "Oh, we'll have that one there." Then.
Well, thanks very much. Dave, just before you go, do you think Carl would be an interesting subject for a PhD?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, well, if you know,
well, hopefully one day you'll become a professor, and you can maybe set that as some coursework.
I could do, yeah.
Carl Pilkington. Imagine that.
Cheers, Dave.
Having an MA in Carl Pilkington. Thanks very much, Dave.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, bye.